My beloved child, listen carefully, because what I am about to reveal is not ordinary, not rehearsed, and not something heaven expected to announce like this. There was a moment in your life, quiet, unseen by crowds, unnoticed by those around you, when everything shifted. You thought no one saw it. You assumed it was small. But I tell you now, heaven itself paused when you chose the way you did. This message is not random. It is not symbolic. And it is not for everyone. Archangel Michael stands witness, and he speaks with clarity today. Heaven was caught off guard by the way you responded when it mattered most. Not because heaven doubted you, but because the depth of your response went beyond what was written, beyond what was expected, beyond what you were even prepared to give. There was a test wrapped in pressure, a decision disguised as survival, a moment where you could have reacted from fear, from ego, or from pain. And yet, you didn't. You held back when striking back would have been easier. You stayed honest when compromise would have protected you. You remained faithful when silence would have cost you nothing. That single response sent a ripple through the spiritual realm. You need to understand this clearly. Heaven is never shocked by chaos. Heaven is not surprised by betrayal, loss, or darkness. But heaven pays attention when a soul responds with integrity under fire. That is what happened with you. You may remember the moment as exhaustion, as confusion, as a breaking point. You may even remember questioning God afterward, wondering if your restraint, your obedience, or your patience was pointless. But today, Archangel Michael reveals the truth you were not allowed to see then. Your response became a witness. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. But it was pure. And purity moves heaven faster than noise ever could. Hear this. There was a different outcome prepared if you had reacted the other way. There was a closed door waiting if bitterness had taken the lead. There was delay assigned if resentment had spoken for you. But because you chose what you chose, heaven had to adjust timelines. Assignments shifted. Protection intensified. New authority was placed quietly over your life. This is why the enemy has been restless around you lately. This is why old distractions tried to return. This is why confusion attempted to cloud your clarity right after that season. It wasn't random. It was retaliation, because something irreversible was released when you passed that moment. Archangel Michael says this plainly. You responded like someone who carries future responsibility. And responsibility attracts recognition in heaven. You might ask, if heaven noticed, why did things still feel hard afterward? Because acknowledgement does not always come immediately. Some confirmations are sealed until the next phase begins. And you are standing at the edge of that phase now. That's why this message found you. This moment matters because what you did then unlocked what is approaching now. Doors don't open loudly in the spirit. They unlock first. And what unlocked was not just opportunity, but trust. Heaven entrusted you with something weighty because you proved you could be trusted when no reward was visible. Do not minimize that. Do not dismiss it as coincidence. And do not let your mind talk you out of what your spirit already recognizes as truth. Archangel Michael is not speaking to flatter you. He is speaking to prepare you. Because the next assignment requires the same kind of response, but at a higher level. Greater visibility, greater impact, greater influence. And this time, others will be watching. The reason this moment matters is because it marked you. Not with pride, but with credibility. Heaven does not promote based on words. It promotes based on reactions. And your reaction echoed. So steady your heart. Align your thoughts. And understand this, what felt like a silent sacrifice became a loud declaration in the heavens. You are stepping into a season where what you carry will be tested again, but now, with backing you didn't have before. This is not the end of the story. This is the evidence that it has already begun. Beloved soul, breathe for a moment and let this sink deeper, because what I am about to share now explains why your life did not return to normal after that defining moment. Many people assume that when heaven approves, everything becomes easy. But Archangel Michael makes this clear. When heaven recognizes you, your surroundings begin to shift before your circumstances do. That is exactly what you have been feeling. After your response, something subtle changed in the atmosphere around you. Conversations felt different. Certain people became distant without explanation. Opportunities appeared and disappeared just as quickly. You may have wondered if you misread God, or if you imagined the significance of what happened. But no, this was the adjustment phase. Heaven was repositioning you quietly, and repositioning always feels uncomfortable before it feels rewarding. Archangel Michael reveals that when you passed that moment, you stepped into a category few reach. You became someone heaven could rely on during pressure. That does not make you perfect, but it makes you dependable. And dependability attracts responsibility. This is why your rest has been interrupted lately. This is why your mind hath been processing deeper questions. This is why surface-level conversations no longer satisfy you. Your spirit has outgrown what once entertained it. You are not losing interest in life. You are gaining alignment. Here is what many do not realize. The enemy studies reactions more than intentions. When you reacted with wisdom instead of impulse, restraint instead of revenge, faith instead of fear, you disrupted patterns that were supposed to repeat in your bloodline, in your environment, and in your future. That is why resistance increased afterward. Not because you failed, but because you succeeded. Archangel Michael says there was an accusation brought against you in the unseen, suggesting you would break if pressed again. But heaven responded, not with words, but with memory. Your past response was presented as evidence, and the accusation lost its power. That is why protection has been surrounding you in ways you cannot fully explain. Delays that should have harmed you ended up saving you. Situations that could have embarrassed you dissolved quietly. Even mistakes were softened by mercy. This is not luck. This is covering. Yet, there is a warning within this reassurance. Favor does not remove choice. The next season requires awareness. You cannot respond the way you used to. Casual reactions will not fit where you are going. Emotional decisions will cost more now. Silence will sometimes be required where explanation feels tempting. This is not punishment. This is preparation. Archangel Michael speaks directly here. You are being trained to carry influence without losing purity. The training includes moments where you feel unseen again. Do not misinterpret that as abandonment. Some upgrades happen in private because public growth would invite unnecessary interference. Heaven hides what it is still shaping. You may have noticed that certain doors are opening slowly. That is intentional. Fast openings often attract fast exits. What is coming to you is meant to last, and lasting things take alignment, not force. Now hear this carefully, because this is for those whose spirit is resonating right now. If this message is speaking to you, do not keep it to yourself. When you engage, by liking, sharing, and commenting, you are not just supporting a video. You are signaling agreement in the spiritual realm. Agreement strengthens alignment. Share this with someone who needs confirmation. Subscribe so you stay connected to what heaven is releasing in this season. This is how we build a community that stays sensitive to God's voice together. Archangel Michael also urges you to guard your mouth. There will be moments ahead where saying less will protect more. Not everyone needs to know what you are carrying. Some people only understand outcomes, not processes. And that is okay. Do not rush to prove anything. What was acknowledged in heaven does not need validation on earth. There is another reason this moment matters. Your response did not just affect you. It altered timing for others connected to you. Someone else's breakthrough is now closer because you held your ground. Someone else's protection was strengthened because you chose maturity. You may never know the full impact, but heaven does. And this is why the next test will feel familiar, yet different. Similar pressure, high stakes. But this time, you will notice something new, clarity. You will sense when to move and when to wait. You will feel peace even before results appear. That is growth. Archangel Michael says this is the season where discernment becomes your advantage. Pay attention to what drains you versus what strengthens you. Pay attention to repeated thoughts that bring fear. They are not invitations. They are distractions. Your focus will determine how smoothly you step into what is next. And before you drift away, hold on, because what is about to unfold next explains why this recognition from heaven is connected to a specific assignment that cannot be delayed any longer. This is where the meaning becomes unmistakable, and you will see why everything had to happen exactly the way it did. Chosen one, listen with reverence now, because what is being revealed here explains why your spirit felt unusually heavy right before that crucial response. Archangel Michael reveals that this was not accidental pressure. It was a weighing. Heaven was observing how much truth you could carry without becoming hardened, how much authority you could touch without becoming prideful, and how much silence you could endure without losing faith. Many are gifted, but few are entrusted. That moment was not about proving strength. It was about revealing depth. You were not reacting to a situation alone. You were responding while unseen realms leaned in. What you felt as inner tension was actually spiritual gravity. Something valuable was being placed near you, and weight always comes before worth is revealed. That is why your emotions felt stretched, why your patience felt tested, and why your heart felt exposed. Exposure is not always for shame, sometimes it is for selection. Archangel Michael says heaven noticed not only what you did, but what you refused to do. You refused to curse what hurt you. You refused to betray your own values to feel momentary relief. You refused to walk away from integrity just to feel justified. Those refusals spoke louder than any action ever could. Heaven echoed to strain to strength. This is why you have felt a strange mixture of exhaustion and peace since then. Exhaustion comes from carrying weight you were not carrying before. Peace comes from alignment with what you were designed for. When these two coexist, it is a sign that you are walking into purpose, not away from it. Understand this clearly. Heaven does not entrust influence to those who react emotionally under pressure. Influence is given to those who can feel deeply and still choose wisely. That is why Archangel Michael stepped forward in this moment, not to frighten you, but to affirm you. Your response placed you in a line of responsibility that cannot be undone. There is something else you must know. That moment closed a door permanently. A door of repetition. A door of delay. A door of unnecessary struggle. You may still face challenges, but you will not face the same cycles again. What once repeated itself in different forms has lost its permission. Cycles break when awareness meets obedience. You may have noticed that certain temptations no longer satisfy you. Certain conversations feel empty. Certain ambitions feel too small. This is not loss. It is refinement. Your spirit is being trained to recognize substance over noise, and that discernment will protect you in the season ahead. Archangel Michael warns, however, that recognition brings visibility in ways you may not immediately see. You will be tested not just by hardship, but by opportunity. Opportunities that look good but feel off. Doors that open easily but carry confusion. You must listen to peace more than excitement. Peace will guide you correctly when excitement tries to rush you. Heaven is not rushing you. Heaven is steadying you. That response you gave, when it mattered most, became a reference point. When decisions arise now, heaven measures them against that moment. You have already shown who you are under pressure. That is why future instructions will come with clarity, not chaos. You will know when to move, and you will know when to wait. Doubt will knock, but it will no longer have authority. And here is the part that should humble you deeply. Archangel Michael says your response did not elevate you above others. It positioned you to serve differently. Authority in heaven is always connected to responsibility on earth. You are not being lifted to be admired. You are being aligned to be effective. What you carry will help others navigate their own defining moments. Do not underestimate how God uses quiet obedience. Do not question the value of unseen faithfulness. What you did mattered because it echoed beyond you. Now receive this gently. There will be a moment ahead where you will be tempted to second-guess yourself, wondering if all of this was real or imagined. When that moment comes, remember this truth. Heaven does not adjust assignments for imagination. Heaven adjusts for obedience. And heaven adjusted because of you. Take a breath. Let gratitude rise, not pride. Gratitude keeps the channel open. And as this message settles into your spirit, seal it with faith. Type "I receive the calling" in the comments if this is resonating deeply with you. Lesson code 934 has just been released over your obedience and alignment. Now hear this from my heart to yours. As this word reaches you, it is also reaching others who are standing at their own defining moment. I feel led to say this directly. When you support this mission, you are not funding a channel. You are helping light reach those still standing in the dark. Just as your response shifted heaven's attention, your seed becomes a response that opens doors for other souls. The word declares that those who sow into good ground will see rivers rise where there was drought, and I speak that promise alive over you now. This is your moment to act in faith, not later, not someday, now. You super thanks. Join the membership or give through PayPal linked in the description as an act of obedience, not obligation. I bless every giver with clarity, protection, and multiplied peace. Do it now, and let heaven witness your response once again. My dear one, there is a sacred reason this message continues unfolding layer by layer. What happened after that defining response was not inactivity. It was incubation. Archangel Michael reveals that heaven often pauses outward movement when something inward is being strengthened. You were not being delayed, you were being fortified. And fortification happens quietly, away from applause, away from explanation. You may recall a season where clarity came in flashes instead of full pictures. Moments of deep understanding followed by silence. That was not confusion. That was calibration. Heaven was adjusting your spiritual senses so you could discern beyond appearance. What once required effort to understand will soon feel instinctive to you. That is growth you cannot fake or rush. Archangel Michael says many would have mistaken that season as stagnation and tried to force progress. You did not. You waited without bitterness. You kept moving without panic. That balance matters more than you realize. Heaven watches how you wait, not just how you act. And your waiting spoke volumes. There is something significant about the way you process disappointment. You did not allow it to harden you. You let it tease you. That choice refined your discernment. Now you can feel when something is misaligned even if it looks successful. You can sense when a connection carries hidden weight even if it sounds promising. This sensitivity is not weakness. It is protection. Understand this truth now. Not everything that slows you down is meant to stop you. Some things slow you so you arrive whole. If you had reached certain doors earlier, you would have carried unhealed expectations into them. Heaven spared you that burden. Timing protected you. Archangel Michael reveals that you are entering a season where discernment will save you time, energy, and emotional cost. You will notice a growing discomfort with anything that requires you to pretend. Pretending drains you because authenticity is now essential to your assignment. You cannot afford to wear masks where you are going. There will be people who misunderstand this shift. They may say you changed to. In truth, you clarified. You no longer negotiate with your peace. You no longer chase validation. You no longer explain yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. That is not arrogance. That is maturity. Heaven does not ask you to shrink to keep others comfortable. Another truth must be spoken gently, but firmly. You will be presented with options that mirror old patterns. They will look familiar, even tempting. Familiarity is not confirmation. Sometimes it is a test to see if you recognize what you have outgrown. Archangel Michael urges you to trust the quiet resistance you feel toward what once excited you. That resistance is wisdom. Do not confuse calm with boredom. Calm is where clarity lies. You are also being taught restraint in speech. There will be moments where you know more than you should say. Silence will protect you more than explanation. Heaven is teaching you the power of timing, not just truth. Truth spoken too early can be mishandled by those not prepared to hear it. Archangel Michael says this is how leaders are formed, not by how loudly they speak, but by how wisely they discern when to speak. Pay attention to what strengthens you in solitude. Solitude is no longer loneliness for you. It is alignment. In stillness, you are recalibrated. In quiet, you are restored. This is where instruction comes without interference. Do not rush away from these moments. They are equipping you. There is also healing happening beneath the surface. Old disappointments are losing their emotional charge. Memories that once triggered frustration now feel neutral. That is freedom settling in. Healing does not always announce itself. Sometimes it simply stops hurting. Archangel Michael affirms this. You are no longer driven by what wounded you. You are guided by what calls you. That shift is everything. As you move forward, you will notice a deepening respect for boundaries, yours and others. You will no longer feel guilty for protecting your energy. You will no longer overextend to prove worth. Worth is already established. Your role now is stewardship of what you carry. And hear this clearly. You are not behind. You are precisely where refinement meets readiness. Nothing has been wasted. Every delay added clarity. Every challenge added depth. Every quiet victory added strength. Heaven does not rush preparation for those it trusts. So steady yourself. The pace will increase soon, but you will not feel overwhelmed. You will feel ready. When movement begins, it will feel natural, not forced. Doors will open with confirmation, not confusion. And when they do, you will recognize them, not by noise but by peace. This unfolding is intentional, and you are not walking it alone. Archangel Michael stands watch, not as a distant figure, but as a guardian of alignment over what comes next. Beloved one, as this message continues, there is a deeper unveiling that must take place, because what you are stepping into is not just a new season, it is a new level of awareness. Archangel Michael reveals that after incubation comes illumination. Things you once questioned will begin to make sense without explanation. Not because someone tells you, but because your spirit recognizes truth when it appears. You may already be sensing this shift. Your tolerance for confusion has decreased. Where you once wrestled internally, you now pause and wait. That pause is not hesitation. It is discernment at work. Heaven has trained your spirit to stop reacting and start perceiving. And perception will protect you more than effort ever could. Here is a reason certain plans fell apart without warning. A reason some connections dissolved without closure. Heaven was removing weight you could not carry into what comes next. Some things were not evil, just misaligned. And misalignment becomes dangerous when influence increases. You were spared future conflict by present separation. Archangel Michael speaks gently here. Do not grieve what had to end. Grief would imply loss. What actually happened was release. Release creates space, and space invites clarity. You are not empty, you are available. That availability is powerful. You may notice now that your intuition is sharper. You sense undercurrents in conversations. You feel when something is being withheld. This is not suspicion. It is sensitivity refined by experience. But you must guard against overanalyzing. Discernment works best when paired with peace. If peace leaves, step back. Heaven never rushes you through unease. There is also a strengthening happening in your identity. You no longer define yourself by past roles. You are no longer attached to labels that once validated you. This detachment is intentional. Heaven is preparing you to move freely without needing affirmation from familiar places. Freedom requires independence from approval. Archangel Michael reveals that the next phase of your assignment requires mobility, spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. You cannot be anchored to expectations that no longer fit. You are being trained to move when instructed, not when understood. Obedience before explanation is a mark of trust. Understand this. Not everyone will understand your choices moving forward. Some will interpret your obedience as distance. Others will mislabel your growth as disinterest. Let them. Clarity does not require consensus. Heaven's confirmation outweighs human opinion. You are also learning to trust what does not shout. Loud opportunities will present themselves. So will urgent requests. But urgency is not authority. Archangel Michael cautions you to listen for what draws you closer to peace, not pressure. Pressure manipulates. Peace invites. This is also a season where your prayer life may feel different. Less words, more listening. Less asking, more aligning. That is maturity. When alignment increases, requests decrease because you begin to want what heaven wants. That alignment is rare and valuable. There is something sacred about the way you now handle disappointment. You process it without spiraling. You feel it without being consumed. The balance indicates healing you did not even know you needed. Old wounds are no longer directing new decisions. That alone changes your future trajectory. Archangel Michael affirms this truth. You are not reacting from survival anymore. You are responding from security. Security in who you are. Security in who leads you. Security in the timing of your life. That security makes you dangerous to fear-based manipulation. Be mindful of moments when nostalgia tries to pull you backward. Nostalgia can distort memory. It highlights comfort while hiding limitation. What you left behind cannot contain who you are becoming. Returning would not bring peace. It would bring confinement. Forward is the only direction that fits you now. There will also be moments of solitude ahead. Do not resist them. Solitude will sharpen your hearing. In quiet, instructions come clearly. In stillness, courage is renewed. You are not being isolated. You are being aligned. There is a difference. Archangel Michael says something important here. You are closer than you think. Not to an ending, but to activation. The things you have been sensing, dreaming, and feeling are not imagination. They are signals. Heaven speaks in impressions before manifestations. Guard your focus. Distractions will increase when momentum is near. Small irritations will try to steal big clarity. Do not let minor frustrations derail major alignment. Stay anchored. Stay aware. Stay patient. Everything you endured prepared you for this steadiness. You are no longer easily shaken. You bend, but you do not break. That resilience is not self-made. It was formed through obedience, restraint, and trust when results were invisible. And now, as this unfolds, remember this. Heaven is not asking you to strive. It is asking you to stay yielded. Yielded hearts move faster than striving hands. What comes next will feel natural because you have been shaped for it. And when it arrives, you will recognize it, not by excitement alone, but by a deep sense of rightness settling in your spirit. Beloved child, there is a sacred intensity surrounding this stage of your journey, and Archangel Michael speaks with firmness now because clarity is essential. What you are experiencing is not hesitation. It is refinement at work. Heaven refines before it reveals. What feels like pressure is actually precision. Your life is being aligned so closely with purpose that anything unnecessary feels uncomfortable. You may have noticed that your reactions are slower, but your understanding is deeper. This is intentional. Heaven is teaching you to respond from wisdom, not impulse. Where you once needed reassurance, you now require alignment. That shift marks maturity. It means you are no longer led by emotion alone, but by discernment shaped through obedience. Archangel Michael reveals that you are entering a season where your words will carry unusual weight. Conversations will matter more. Decisions will echo longer. This is why heaven has been teaching you restraint. Silence has trained you to listen. Listening has trained you to hear beyond sound. And hearing has prepared you to speak only what is necessary. Do not underestimate how much strength it takes to remain steady when movement is delayed. Many lose clarity in waiting. You did not. You learned how to remain faithful without constant confirmation. That ability separates those who start strong from those who finish well. There will be moments ahead when you are tempted to rush clarity from people instead of receiving it from God. Resist that temptation. Human confirmation often arrives late and leaves early. Divine confirmation anchors you even when no one agrees. Archangel Michael urges you to trust the internal witness you have been developing. It hath been trained through trial, not theory. Pay attention to how your boundaries have evolved. You no longer feel the need to explain your no. You no longer overcommit to avoid disappointment. This is not selfishness. This is stewardship. You are protecting what heaven is growing within you. Access must now be earned through respect, not familiarity. Another shift is happening quietly. You are becoming comfortable with being misunderstood. This does not mean you enjoy it. It means you no longer fear it. Misunderstanding no longer threatens your identity. When identity is secure, misunderstanding loses power. That security is a gift many never receive. Archangel Michael speaks clearly here. The next level of your assignment will require emotional intelligence as much as spiritual insight. You will encounter people who test your patience, not your faith. People who challenge your composure, not your belief. How you respond to them will matter. You are being prepared to lead without losing compassion. Notice how your prayers have become more intentional. You are no longer asking for escape. You are asking for alignment. That is a sign of trust. Trust that whatever heaven allows is shaping you, not harming you. This trust will be rewarded with clarity at the right time. There is also a warning wrapped in grace. Do not allow familiarity with the process to breed carelessness. Just because you have grown does not mean you stop guarding your heart. Pride enters quietly, disguised as confidence. Stay humble. Humility keeps the channel clear. Archangel Michael reminds you that growth does not eliminate vulnerability. It teaches you how to protect it wisely. You will still feel deeply. You will still care strongly. But now, you choose when and where to invest that depth. That choice preserves your strength. As this message reaches you, I want to speak directly to your role right now. If this word is resonating, engage with it. Like this message as a sign of agreement. Comment to anchor what you are receiving. Share it with someone who needs confirmation that their waiting is not wasted. Subscribe so you remain connected to what heaven is unfolding in this season. When you participate, you are not just supporting content, you are aligning yourself with truth being released in real time. And hear this gently but clearly, stay present. What unfolds next builds directly on what you are understanding now. Hold on, because the clarity that follows will connect every quiet lesson into one undeniable revelation. This is where the pieces begin to fit together, and you will be grateful you stayed attentive. Archangel Michael affirms this final truth for now. You are not preparing for something small. You are being shaped for impact that requires depth, patience, and humility. Everything you have walked through has been necessary. Nothing has been random, and nothing has been wasted. Remain steady, remain aware, and remain open. What heaven recognized in you before is about to be expressed through you in a way you cannot yet fully see, but soon you will. My beloved one, there is a reason your spirit feels unusually alert right now, as if something is approaching that cannot be ignored. Archangel Michael reveals that this is the stage where preparation turns into positioning. You are no longer being shaped in isolation. You are being aligned with timing. Timing is sacred in heaven, and those who respect it are entrusted with greater responsibility. You may sense that decisions now carry more weight than before. Small choices feel significant. Minor compromises feel louder. This is not pressure meant to frighten you. It is awareness meant to guide you. Heaven has sharpened your conscience because what you are about to steward requires precision. Casual living will no longer feel comfortable to you, and that discomfort is protection. Archangel Michael says you are entering a phase where your discernment will be tested by familiarity. Situations will arise that look similar to past experiences but carry different intentions. If you rely only on memory, you may misjudge them. If you rely on discernment, you will see clearly. This is why you must remain present and not assume you already know how something will end. There is also a deepening happening in your courage. Not the loud kind that announces itself, but the quiet kind that stands firm without explanation. You are learning to trust your inner witness even when others question it. That trust did not come easily. It was forged through moments where obedience cost you comfort. But now, it has become instinctive. You may have noticed that you no longer chase clarity through overthinking. Instead, you wait until peace confirms direction. This is wisdom. Overthinking seeks control. Peace signals alignment. Heaven speaks through peace more often than through urgency. When urgency pushes, pause. When peace settles, move. Archangel Michael reveals that you are being positioned among people who will need your steadiness. Some will come to you confused. Others will come defensive. A few will come quietly, searching for answers they cannot articulate. Your role will not always be to fix them. Sometimes your role will simply be to remain grounded so they can stabilize themselves in your presence. This is why emotional maturity hath been emphasized so strongly in your journey. You are being trained to respond without absorbing chaos, to care without carrying burdens that are not yours, to listen without losing yourself. These are leadership qualities heaven values deeply. Another truth must be spoken clearly. You will soon be asked to step forward in a way that stretches your comfort zone. Not dramatically, but noticeably. It may involve visibility. It may involve responsibility. It may involve speaking when you would rather stay quiet. Do not resist this stretch. Growth always requires expansion beyond familiarity. Archangel Michael cautions you not to compare your journey to others. Comparison will distort your perception and weaken your confidence. What you carry is specific. What you are being prepared for is unique. Others may move faster or slower, louder or quieter. That has nothing to do with your assignment. You are also being taught how to recognize divine timing without anxiety. Anxiety rushes. Timing rests. When something is from heaven, it will not require you to abandon your peace to pursue it. Peace is the indicator that you are moving in sync, not behind. There may be moments where you feel a strong urge to withdraw and regroup. Utter those moments. Withdrawal for clarity is not retreat. Even Archangel Michael stands watch in stillness before action. Stillness is where strategy is refined. Do not be surprised if certain relationships begin to shift naturally. Some will deepen. Others will loosen. This is not rejection. It is reorganization. Heaven reorganizes your environment to support your next level. Trust what is adjusting. You may also find that your tolerance for superficiality is almost gone. Conversations that lack depth will drain you. Environments that lack integrity will unsettle you. This is not judgment. It is alignment. You are being drawn toward substance because your assignment requires it. Archangel Michael says this clearly. You are not waiting for permission anymore. You are waiting for instruction. And instruction comes when readiness meets timing. Both are nearly aligned now. Be mindful of your inner dialogue. Speak to yourself with the same patience heaven has shown you. Harsh self-judgment will only slow clarity. Compassion sharpens discernment. You grow faster when you honor progress instead of punishing imperfection. As you continue forward, remain anchored in humility. Humility keeps your vision clear. Pride distorts even accurate insight. You have been kept grounded for a reason. Stay there. Grounded people see clearly when elevation comes. This stage is about steadiness. Not rushing. Not retreating. Simply remaining faithful in the small adjustments. When the larger movement begins, you will recognize it instantly. There will be no confusion, no striving, no need to convince yourself. Archangel Michael stands watch over this transition, ensuring that what unfolds next does not overwhelm you but activates you. You are not being pushed forward unprepared. You are being invited forward equipped. Hold your posture. Guard your peace. And remain attentive. What you are stepping into will require exactly who you have become. Beloved child, this is a turning point in the message. because what Archangel Michael reveals now explains why the intensity around you has quietly increased. This is not coincidence. You are standing at the edge of activation. Not anticipation, activation. What has been forming internally is now ready to express externally, and heaven is watching how you step into this transition. You may have felt moments recently where clarity arrived suddenly, almost unexpectedly. Thoughts aligning, decisions becoming simpler, emotional reactions losing their grip. This is not emotional numbness. This is spiritual authority settling in. When authority increases, chaos loses volume. What once overwhelmed you now feels manageable because you are no longer facing it as the same person. Archangel Michael says something profound here. The reason heaven was caught off guard by your response earlier is because you operated beyond your current rank. You acted from a future version of yourself. That is rare. Most people grow into their calling. You touched it early through obedience. And now, heaven is aligning your external life with the internal rank you already demonstrated. This is why resistance showed up quietly instead of loudly. Loud resistance announces itself. Quiet resistance attempts to delay through distraction, fatigue, and doubt. You were meant to feel tired, not defeated. You were meant to feel questioned, not confused. And still, you remained anchored. That anchoring sealed something permanently. Understand this. Not every battle looks like conflict. Some battles look like waiting without reassurance. Some look like staying consistent without feedback. Some look like trusting God while nothing changes on the surface. You won those battles. That is why you are here now. Archangel Michael reveals that your name was mentioned in a conversation you did not hear. A decision was made in the unseen regarding your placement. Not promotion for ego, but positioning for impact. You are being placed where your steadiness will matter more than your talent, where your discernment will protect others from missteps, where your restraint will set the tone. This explains why you have been sensitive to atmosphere lately. You can feel when something is off even if it looks fine. You sense when truth is being softened. That sensitivity is not emotional. It is spiritual intelligence. And it will guide you accurately if you honor it. There is also a release happening now. Old guilt no longer has permission to speak. Past mistakes no longer define present decisions. You are not being reminded of who you were. You are being introduced to who you are becoming. And that introduction comes with responsibility. Archangel Michael cautions you here. Do not rush visibility. Visibility will come naturally when alignment is complete. Forced exposure creates vulnerability without covering. Heaven exposes what it protects. Trust the order. You may feel an internal urgency to act, but it is not frantic. It is focused. That focus is a sign of readiness. But readiness still requires obedience to timing. Stay responsive, not reactive. This next phase will require consistency more than intensity. Small, faithful steps will matter more than dramatic gestures. Heaven is watching patterns, not moments. And your patterns are being established now. Take this deeply. You are not being asked to become someone else. You are being asked to fully inhabit who you already are. The version of you that responded correctly under pressure is the version heaven is now calling forward consistently. Let gratitude ground you. Gratitude keeps authority clean. And now, as this word seals, mark this moment intentionally. Type "I step into alignment" in the comments if this message confirms what you have been sensing. Blessing code 1146 is now activated over your discernment, obedience, and next steps. Now hear this as a sacred extension of what was just released. I am speaking directly to those who feel the weight and honor of this calling. When you support this work, you are not giving to a person. You are partnering with heaven to reach souls standing at their own crossroads. Just as your obedience shifted outcomes, your seed becomes light for someone still searching for direction. The word says that when seed is sown into fertile ground, the harvest multiplies beyond expectation, and I declare that promise alive over your life now. This is not a casual moment. This is a prophetic response. You super thanks. Step into membership, or release your seed through the PayPal link in the description as an act of obedience. I bless every giver with open doors, divine protection, and peace that cannot be shaken. Act now. Let heaven witness your response once again. Beloved one, as this message continues, the atmosphere shifts again, not with intensity but with resolve. Archangel Michael reveals that what you are entering now is a season of consolidation. Everything you have learned, discerned, and endured is being brought into alignment so nothing is scattered, wasted, or fragmented. Heaven does not release momentum until stability is established, and stability is being sealed within you now. You may notice that your inner world feels more ordered. Thoughts are less chaotic. Emotions no longer swing as wildly. Decisions feel clearer even when outcomes remain unknown. This is not because uncertainty has vanished, but because fear has lost authority. When fear loses authority, clarity does not need constant reassurance to stand. Archangel Michael says this is the phase where many grow impatient because the movement feels subtle. But subtle does not mean stagnant. Subtle often means strategic. Heaven is positioning details before releasing direction. Missing details create unnecessary struggle later. What you are experiencing is precision. You may feel drawn to simplify your life. Less noise, fewer explanations, more intention. This is not withdrawal, it is focus. Focus protects momentum. Heaven is teaching you how to move without dragging unnecessary weight behind you. Some obligations will naturally fall away. Some expectations will quietly dissolve. Let them. They are not required for where you are going. There is also a strengthening happening in your confidence. Not confidence in outcomes, but confidence in guidance. You trust that even if you do not see the full picture, you will recognize the next step when it appears. That trust was built through experience, not assumption. You have seen God guide you before, even when you doubted yourself. Memory is now reinforcing faith. Archangel Michael reveals that this is the season where discernment becomes practical. It moves from theory into daily decision-making. You will notice that you pause before agreeing. You listen more closely before committing. You sense when something carries peace or pressure. This is wisdom being applied, not just understood. Be aware that as clarity increases, distractions may attempt to become louder. Not dramatic distractions, subtle ones. Overcommitment, mental fatigue, unnecessary worry about things that are not yet required. Do not take the bait. Your focus is valuable. Protect it deliberately. You may also encounter moments where people project their uncertainty onto you. They may question your pace. They may not understand your restraint. Resist the urge to justify yourself. Alignment does not require approval. Silence will often communicate more strength than explanation ever could. Archangel Michael emphasizes that your ability to remain steady under questioning is part of your preparation. Leadership is tested long before it is acknowledged. How you carry yourself when no one affirms you determines how you will carry responsibility when many depend on you. Another important shift is taking place within your sense of identity. You are no longer defining yourself by what you are becoming. You are beginning to live from who you already are. This may sound subtle, but it changes everything. When you live from identity, you do not strive for position. Position finds you. You may notice that some ambitions have softened, not because you gave up, but because your motivations have matured. You are no longer chasing recognition. You are pursuing alignment. That pursuit carries less anxiety and more peace. Peace is not the absence of challenge, it is the presence of trust. Archangel Michael reminds you that consistency will matter more than inspiration in this phase. Inspiration comes and goes. Consistency builds credibility. Show up faithfully even when nothing dramatic happens. Heaven values faithfulness in the unseen more than bursts of passion in public. There will be moments when progress feels slow. Do not measure progress only by external change. Internal stability is progress. Emotional regulation is progress. Clear boundaries are progress. These foundations will support what comes next without collapse. You are also being prepared to recognize divine opportunity without panic. When doors open, you will not feel the need to rush through them. You will step through calmly, knowing that what is meant for you will not disappear because you took time to confirm it. Rush blessings often become burdens. Confirmed blessings become anchors. Archangel Michael says your patience is no longer passive. It is active trust. Active trust positions you correctly even when nothing seems to move. It keeps your spirit ready without exhausting your mind. Pay attention to how your inner dialogue has changed. You are kinder with yourself. You recover faster from disappointment. You correct without condemning. That inner tone matters. How you speak to yourself sets the atmosphere you carry into every room. As this stage unfolds, remain attentive but relaxed, alert but unpressured. Heaven is not testing your endurance right now. It is establishing your steadiness. Steadiness is what sustains impact over time. And hear this final truth for now. What you are stepping into does not require a new version of you. It requires the grounded version you are becoming right now. Nothing flashy, nothing forced. Just faithful alignment. Archangel Michael stands watch as this consolidation completes, ensuring that when movement increases, you will not wobble. You will move with confidence, clarity, and calm authority. Remain grounded, remain focused, and remain open. What is ahead will meet you prepared. Beloved child, the atmosphere around this message carries urgency without panic. Movement without confusion. Archangel Michael speaks now to clarify what this moment truly represents. You are not standing at the beginning of something. You are standing at the alignment point where preparation meets permission. Permission does not come when everything is perfect. It comes when readiness is proven. And readiness has been proven in you. You may feel an internal pull to step forward, paired with a surprising calm. That calm is not hesitation. It is authority settling into place. When authority arrives, it does not rush. It knows when to move. Heaven is teaching you how to advance without anxiety, how to act without forcing outcomes. This is a higher way of moving, and it protects you from unnecessary resistance. Archangel Michael reveals that the next steps ahead will require decisiveness. Not impulsive decisions, but clear ones. Indecision will no longer feel neutral. It will feel uncomfortable. That discomfort is guidance. You are being trained to recognize when waiting becomes delay. Timing matters, and you are now sensitive to it. There will be moments where action is required even without full clarity. This is where trust becomes practical. You will not always see the entire staircase, but you will see the next step. Take it. Obedience at this level does not demand explanation first. It responds to instruction with confidence built on relationship. You may notice that your emotional responses are more measured now. Situations that once triggered overreaction no longer control you. That is not suppression, that is mastery. Emotional mastery allows spiritual authority to flow cleanly. Without it, even correct actions can be executed with the wrong spirit. Heaven had been careful with you for this reason. Archangel Michael also cautions you to remain grounded as momentum increases. When movement begins, there will be voices, some encouraging, some distracting. Praise can inflate if humility is not anchored. Criticism can sting if identity is not settled. You must remain rooted in the truth of who you are, not the opinions surrounding you. This is also a season where consistency will be tested, not by hardship, but by opportunity. Multiple doors may appear at once. You will need discernment to choose alignment over excitement. Not every open door is yours to walk through. Peace will identify the right one. Pay close attention to what drains you versus what strengthens you. Heaven is refining your energy management. Where you invest yourself matters more now because influence multiplies impact. Overextending will not prove faithfulness. It will weaken effectiveness. Steward your strength wisely. Archangel Michael says something important here. Do not mistake still moments as inactivity. Even now, heaven is arranging meetings, conversations, and circumstances behind the scenes. Some of what is coming will feel sudden to you, but it has been in motion for longer than you realize. Preparation has been happening quietly. You are also being asked to trust your growth. There will be moments where you question whether you are ready. That questioning is natural, but do not let it become doubt. Readiness is not the absence of fear. It is the presence of obedience despite it. You have already shown this quality. Heaven remembers. As this word continues, let me speak directly to your role right now. If this message is resonating, do not remain passive. Like this message as a sign of agreement. Comment what your spirit is receiving. Share this with someone who needs confirmation that they are not behind. Subscribe so you remain connected to what heaven is unfolding through this channel. When you engage, you are not just interacting, you are partnering with what God is releasing in this season. Archangel Michael emphasizes that engagement strengthens alignment. Agreement multiplies clarity, and clarity accelerates obedience. There is also a subtle reminder here for you. Remain present. Do not drift mentally while your spirit is being instructed. What unfolds next connects directly to what you are understanding now. Stay with this. Trust me, you will want to hear what follows, because it brings everything into focus. You are being prepared to carry responsibility without losing compassion, authority without arrogance, influence without compromise. These balances are rare, and that is why the process has been thorough. Another shift is occurring within your expectations. You are no longer expecting instant results. You are expecting sustainable fruit. That expectation will protect you from disappointment and help you recognize genuine progress when it appears. Archangel Michael affirms this final truth for this stage. Heaven is not asking you to become more spiritual. He is asking you to be more obedient. Obedience expressed consistently will carry you further than intensity expressed briefly. Remain alert, but remain calm. The pace will change soon, and when it does, you will not feel rushed. You will feel ready. What comes next is not about preparation anymore. It is about expression. And everything you have become is about to be used with precision, purpose, and peace. Beloved one, the tone of this message now deepens, because what Archangel Michael reveals here is not about preparation or positioning anymore. It is about confirmation. Confirmation does not always arrive as celebration. Often, it arrives as quiet certainty. and that certainty has been settling into your spirit more frequently than you may realize. You have reached a place where you no longer need constant signs to believe you are aligned. You sense it. You know it. Even when circumstances fluctuate, your inner anchor holds. That stability did not come from comfort. It came from endurance. You learned how to stand when outcomes were unclear, and that taught you how to recognize truth without visible evidence. Archangel Michael speaks clearly now. You are being trusted with continuity. Many can start strong. Fewer can remain steady. Heaven values those who can carry responsibility over time without losing integrity. That is why your journey has emphasized consistency more than speed. Speed impresses people. Consistency sustains impact. You may notice that your definition of success has changed. It is no longer about reaching a destination quickly. It is about remaining aligned while moving forward. That shift protects you from burnout and disappointment. You are no longer chasing outcomes. You are stewarding direction. There is also a subtle but powerful change in how you relate to uncertainty. You do not fear it the way you once did. Uncertainty no longer feels like danger. It feels like space. Space where God can move without your interference. Space where instruction can arrive without pressure. This is spiritual maturity expressing itself naturally. Archangel Michael reveals that your ability to remain calm without full information has not gone unnoticed. Heaven sees how you refrain from forcing clarity, how you wait without complaining, how you trust without demanding explanations. That posture is rare, and it creates room for divine precision. You are now in a season where what you carry internally will begin to influence environments externally. And not through dominance, but through presence. People will sense steadiness around you. Conversations will slow down in your presence. Tension will ease without you trying to fix anything. This is not charisma. It is alignment. Be mindful not to underestimate this kind of influence. Quiet authority often moves deeper than loud instruction. You do not need to announce who you are becoming. Your consistency will reveal it naturally. There may be moments where you are tempted to measure progress by comparison. Resist that urge. Comparison will always distort timing. Others may appear ahead or behind, but appearance does not reveal assignment. Heaven measures obedience, not visibility. Stay focused on what you have been given to steward. Archangel Michael also offers a gentle warning here. Familiarity can breed carelessness if you are not attentive. Just because you are comfortable with discernment does not mean you stop listening. Stay teachable. Stay humble. Growth continues even when stability is achieved. Humility keeps growth healthy. You may also notice that certain fears no longer have language. They try to speak, but they sound hollow. That is because fear thrives on uncertainty, and uncertainty no longer controls you. You have learned how to function with trust instead of control. That lesson alone reshaped your future. There is something else being restored quietly, your confidence in God's timing. You no longer feel the need to rush Him. You trust that what He allows to unfold slowly is protecting something valuable. That trust brings rest, and rest sharpens discernment. Archangel Michael affirms that you are no longer being prepared for permission. You are being prepared for stewardship. Stewardship requires awareness, patience, and responsibility. It is less about excitement and more about faithfulness. And you have been faithful. You may sense an upcoming moment where your presence will matter more than your words. A moment where how you carry yourself sets a tone others follow. Do not underestimate those moments. They are often turning points disguised as ordinary interactions. Continue to guard your inner life. What you allow to influence your thoughts will shape how you move forward. Choose peace intentionally. Choose clarity deliberately. Choose alignment daily. These choices compound into authority. Archangel Michael stands watch as this confirmation settles, ensuring that doubt does not steal what certainty has established. You do not need to prove readiness. Readiness has already been demonstrated. Now, you are learning how to maintain it without strain. There will still be challenges. Alignment does not remove opposition. It removes confusion. You will face situations that require courage, but you will not face them disoriented. You will know who you are, and knowing who you are changes how you stand. As this part concludes, let this truth anchor you. You are not waiting to become something meaningful. You already are. What unfolds next will not change your identity. It will express it. Remain grounded. Remain attentive. And remain faithful in the small, quiet choices. What is coming next does not require striving. It requires presence. And you are present. My beloved child, this is the sealing moment. What has been unfolding through every layer of this message now converges into one clear truth. Heaven was not merely observing you, it was confirming you. Archangel Michael speaks now with finality and grace, because this stage is not about becoming ready anymore. It is about stepping forward with what has already been entrusted to you. There was a time when you questioned whether your obedience mattered, whether your restraint was seen, whether choosing integrity over impulse truly made a difference. Today, heaven answers without hesitation. It mattered. It was seen. And it made more difference than you could measure then. What felt like a private decision became a public testimony in the spiritual realm. Archangel Michael declares that your response when it mattered most rewrote expectations around you. Not because you were flawless, but because you were faithful. Faithfulness under pressure is rare. Many obey when outcomes are clear. Few obey when the cost is personal and the reward is invisible. You did not need applause to do what was right. That is why heaven trusted you with more. You are now entering a season where movement will feel purposeful instead of forced. What once required effort will now require attentiveness. You will recognize when to move, when to wait, and when to speak with clarity that does not wound. Authority will rest on you quietly, not aggressively. And that quiet authority will open doors noise never could. You not expect fireworks. Expect alignment. Some confirmations will come through peace. Others through unexpected favor. A few through doors opening without resistance. But the greatest confirmation will be internal. You will move without second-guessing yourself the way you once did. Confidence will not come from pride, but from clarity. Archangel Michael offers this final instruction. Remain obedient even when things begin to flow. Success tests humility more than struggle ever did. Stay anchored. Stay teachable. Stay grateful. Gratitude keeps authority pure. There will be moments ahead where others look to you for guidance, even if they do not say it directly. Your steadiness will become a reference point. Your calm will create space for others to breathe. This is influence expressed correctly, not control, but presence. You are not being elevated above others. You are being positioned among them differently. With responsibility comes service. With clarity comes compassion. Never lose that balance. And now, as this message completes its purpose, seal it intentionally. Type "I walk in obedience" in the comments if you receive this word fully. Blessing code 2029 is now released over your steps, your discernment, and your future assignments. Now hear this final extension of the message, spoken with authority and love. If this word reached you, it is because God intended it to reach others through you. This mission is not about a channel. It is about souls who need light at the exact moment you once needed it. When you give through super thanks, step into membership, or release a seed through the PayPal link in the description, you are responding prophetically, not donating casually. The word declares that those who sow in obedience will reap in seasons they did not expect, and I speak that promise alive over every giver now. This is a divine moment of response. Do not delay it. I bless your obedience, I bless your resources, and I command increase, protection, and peace over your household. Act now, and let heaven record your response once again.